Hey folks, John from Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business. Guys, our friends at GMKTec came through again, and listen, this might be the one. This could be the one. Let's check it out. So as a lot of you guys know, I am kind of on the quest for the perfect retro gaming computer. I don't want this thing to exceed a certain price though, so I've been trying to stay in that lower price range while giving us the maximum amount of performance. As you guys know, that AMD is the one that I've typically been using. If you haven't seen it, I'll drop you a link up here. Last time, GMKTec actually sent us out this Nucbox G7. This thing is brutal, and I mean it is wonderful. This has run everything I have thrown at it, from Xbox to Wii U. Everything just runs great on this thing. Problem is, it was out of our price range. So my goal was to try to keep this into that $150 price range with everything that you need. So I contacted them again, and they said, we got a solution for you. This is the Nucbox G3. Now, from what I understand, this is going to be a much more powerful system than the last Nucbox we looked at. I mean, obviously, other than that one, that thing's a beast. But it's going to come in at around $120. And that's going to give us a lot more options as far as upgradability and everything else. Now, you know, most of these are going to come pre-installed with either a 256, a 128, or in some cases a 512 gig hard drive, which we scrap right off the bat. And I told them that. I said, you know, I typically, unless you guys have got a 1 terabyte like they did in that Nucbox G7, I'm going to scrap the drive anyway, and I'm going to put a 1 terabyte in there. To which he responded, we're going to have a bare bones available. Guys, if they have a sub-$100 bare bones, okay, all right, let's look at it. We don't know yet. All right, so let's take a look at this Nucbox G3 here. Yeah, these guys have been really good to us, and I hope to start a long-term relationship. Wow, check it out. Love that color. Guys, that is bigger than the other one. Let's pull it out of here. Oh, yeah, it's actually quite a bit bigger. Now, that is light. Hold on a second. Actually, almost the exact same weight, but as you can see, it is bigger than that G7 considerably. That is almost the exact same size as the AMD systems that we've been using. So the size is not really a factor, but you can see it is clearly bigger. It is an Intel processor, but it is a quad core, which is what we were looking for instead of a dual core like we have on that AMD. Now, going around on this, you've got your power button, 2 USB 3.0s. Coming around to the back, you've got 2 USB 3.0s on the back, 2 HDMI ports, 1 LAN port. Imagine that. We didn't need the 2 we had on the other one, did we? And you've got a standard barrel connector for power, and that's it. This one is, now, okay, I'm going to say this layout I do like more, and let me show you why. If you are using this G7 as a game machine, all right, say you have got and I'm just going to use these for example. Like say you're using the standard controllers that we normally use. All right, this one, you can hook them all up here on the front, but you're out at that point. You've got 3 USB controllers, which means, and you can't put them side by side because they bump. See that? And you don't want any kind of wedging on there, at least not with this particular controller. That is one thing that is a little, I like to have the option for 4 controllers. So if you look at this, you've got 2 on the front and you've got 2 on the back, so you'll be able to add that 4 controllers pretty easily. So that is a plus right off the bat. Now, what I want to do is, guys, I want to crack this thing open and let's see what makes it tick. Be right back. So another thing I really do like about the GMKTecs, even over our regular AMD, is the ease of upgradability and expandability on these. Now, the AMDs did give us one option that these do not have, and we'll discuss that here in just a little bit. So if this pops the same way, the lid should come off. There we go. And as you can see, that is a standard M.2 drive. It is a 2280. That is an important thing because if you'll recall, this one, and I will give you a side-by-side so you can see it, was actually running one of the 2242s. It's a shorter drive. These are cool, but they're more expensive, whereas we could stay with the normal ones we've been using on this one without a problem. So, okay, so that's going to be a plus right off the bat. So we're going to be able to use the current drives that we're currently using and keep our 1 terabyte drive price range in that $25 to $30. That's important. All right, looks like you do get 1 stick of RAM. It is an 8 gig stick of RAM, and let's see if there's any expandability. There is not. So you could take this, my guess is you could probably take that to a 16, but it's going to be a single stick, unlike on this one or on the AMD where you've got 2 in there. So no big deal. This is actively cooled, guys. As you can see, there is a fan below it down there. That is another huge plus. Active cooling is a big deal when you're playing highly graphic games, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So, all right, I'll tell you what I want to do. Let's go ahead, and I am going to pull one of the drives. You know what? We're going to, you remember our little creative thing we did last time because the drive was too long to fit in, and now we have a drive that's too short to fit in because I'm cloning drives right there. But what we'll do is, let's pull out this drive and see if we can get this other one in. Now, this appears to be, that might be a 2242 slot. You know what? Let's go through this box and look at this real quick. All right. Man, you know, one thing about GMK, the box and the packaging actually weighs more than the computer does, which is pretty cool. I mean, and it's really, really well packed. Okay, so in here, we're going to get our, looks like our instruction book. Now, one thing I want to look here, guys. Give me 1 sec. I want to verify something. And as I suspected, it doesn't actually say what that other slot is. Since I know this has already got Wi-Fi built in and LAN, that could be, it's not a 2242. It looks like it's too short for that. But we might try it in there just to see what it actually does. All right, so inside the box here, you get an HDMI cable. Again, another really nice thing that the AMDs do not offer, so you don't have to go hunting for an HDMI cable. You get a bracket wall mount system. And going into the last box here, we have got a, man, they package well. And in here we've got our power brick. And this is a standalone. It looks like it is a, if I had to guess, 12 volt. Yep, 12 volt, 3 amp, standard barrel connector. And that's it, except for your little warranty card. Thanks for buying. So, all right. Guys, I want to test this thing right off the bat with this drive because I am seriously curious about something. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pull out this M.2 drive because we're not going to use it because it's a smaller drive. You guys know that. All right. So out comes this one. Now, what I want to know, yeah, there's the Wi-Fi card. See, I was wondering if that might have been an expansion for that, but it is not. There is Wi-Fi already in it. Okay, so let me unscrew this. If this will boot off this drive, that gives it another plus because that means it gives you options. So let's go ahead and pull out our 2242 and see if it fits in that slot. Wow, guys, that might actually fit in that slot. Hold on a minute. Look at that, guys. You know what that also gives you the option to do is add multiple hard drives using M.2 drives. I really, really like that. All right, so let's go ahead, crank her down. And I tell you what I'm going to do. Let me reposition Stumpy here. I want to move this right now, right onto the screen here and see what this actually does. Here we go. So let me give you a little view of what we got going here. One thing I'm liking about this already, I really want this to be a good system, guys, and I'll tell you why. You see how this is all lined up right here? Everything is on the back of the machine, which means that the only thing visually you'll see are going to be 2 USB ports up front. That is really, really cool. And I mean, we got our keyboard and our mouse connected to it. We got our LAN connected, our HDMI, and our power. And this is the receiver for one of the controllers. I like how that looks. All right, so let me reposition you here. We're going to fire this thing up and see what we actually get on screen here. You're going to see it with me real time, because I don't like hiding anything. All right, here we go. Firing it up. We did get a red light indicator. And let's see if it boots. We got an HDMI signal. Let's see what we get here. So before we go on, folks, you may have noticed that my attire has changed and that maybe I'm a little more gristly in the old beard area. That's because I ran into an interesting issue. So you'll notice that after we booted that up, it kind of sat there for a couple minutes. And then it occurred to me there was a reason for that. So on the standard systems that we've been testing, we've been using the 2280. These are M.2s, but they're SATA drives. However, the new GMKtec actually uses an M.2 NVMe Gen 3, which means that this drive was no longer compatible with that system. So what I had to do is, in a nutshell, I didn't really want to rebuild the entire image, guys, because you know how long I have spent perfecting that image. So what I did is I cloned this drive to this drive, well, actually to a 1 terabyte NVMe that's in there, and now it should boot. So I wanted to let you guys know that, because it kind of, when I saw it, I was like, I'm trying to think of why in the world is this not booting, and sure enough, that's what it was. So, all right, so let's go back over here to Stumpy, and I'm going to fire up our unit here, and let's see what we get now that we are actually booting off of a proper drive. And there we go. We've got our GMKtec screen. Now, a couple of things that are cool about it. By the way, guys, you see how fast that went by? Now, while this is booting over here, a couple of things that are really, really, really cool about this. Number one, an NVMe Gen 2 or Gen 3 or Gen 4, excuse me, they're going to run considerably faster than a SATA, which means that even though you're taking into account the fact that you're dealing with a quad-core processor instead of a dual-core on the AMD, you're dealing with the Intel UHD graphics, 3.4 gigahertz. It's a better machine than the AMD. And you're going to get the faster data transfer rates because you're going off of one of the Gen 3, Gen 4 SATA drives, which is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and boot this in. Now, one thing we will have to do, my guess is we're not going to have any audio because this has changed. And, God, you see how fast that thing booted? Wow. All right. All right, guys, so I've showed you this before, but we're going to go ahead and do it again together. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go in here and to the system settings. And we're going to go down here to audio output, and we're going to go up to the built-in HDMI. Let's make sure we should have audio, and we'll test a game. All right, just like last time, guys, I have left the bigger ones on here, and I've added a couple. So, Xbox, let's go in here. Let's try our Jet Set Radio Future. Now, we've done this before, and as you guys will recall, it on the other system, it ran great, the i7, but on the original AMDs, a little laggy. So we do have our audio now, so that's good. We're going to go in here and just see how this thing runs. If it runs anywhere close to as good as this little guy does, then you know this is probably going to be our solution. And I'll tell you why here in just 1 second. All right, going on in. Yeah, graffiti is an art and whatever and all that good stuff. And yeah, let me zoom you out here so you can actually see the whole screen. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to play in here and see what we actually get. All right. Yeah, I'm just speeding past this, guys. Yeah, what you say? Cool. Yeah, whatever. Let's go. All right, guys. Let's see what we get. Okay. I am seeing good speed here. All right, that is exactly what we wanted to see right there. So as you can see, it's actually running at the same speed that Intel was. No chopping, no tearing, and everything is doing great. All right, so we know for a fact that it's going to run on this. Guys, look, I knew it was going to run okay on this. All right, you're dealing with a quad-core processor. I knew it had to. So let's step up our game a little bit. We're going to break out of this game. And then let's go over here to the Wii. Now, you guys know some of the Wii games can be pretty brutal on any system, especially considering the Wii and the Wii U. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to check out Mario Kart 8. Now, guys, I launched this on that AMD system, and it just stopped. I mean, stopped. No matter what you tried to do, it flat would not move. It was like real slow, and every turn you took, it would like that. So yeah, that wasn't going to cut it. So let's go on in here, and let's see what we get. All right, single player. Guys, I suck at this game. I'm just going to pick through them all. Yep, looks good to me. Sure, yeah, whatever. Start Grand Prix. Okay, so I am not looking for this to run full speed. If it does, great, but I'm looking for it to run 80 to 90%, and I'll be a happy camper, especially given what we're dealing with right now. Okay, here we go, guys. So let's see. Got to figure out what buttons are what here. All right, got my throttle. There we go. Guys, it's running wonderfully. Get one of these. And guys, once again, I am not good at this game. I never claimed to be good at this game. And as you can see, there's a reason for that, because I suck at this game. But as you can see, it is running perfectly. Now, guys, I am not going to waste our time here testing out some of the older retro games, because obviously this thing is going to tear up the retro games. And probably... Oh, yeah, there we go. See, I'm getting back into the swing here. I remember how to play now. I'm no good at it, but I remember how to play. But the answer to the question is it will run, and it will run good. All right, breaking out of it. So, in comparison, guys, this is probably a little bit better than this, but this is also $200. Now, this one, guys, they are $130 ready to go right out of the box. And I have been told, and I will re-verify this by my representative over there, that they are going to have a bare bones version of this available. If that is the case, guys, you're talking about $80 for the box, $30 to $40 for an actual NVMe M.2, and then $20, $30 for your controller. You're still under the 150 mark for a machine that will run all the way up to Wii U. And if it runs Wii U, it will run PS3 to some extent. So this is a much better deal and a very, very powerful system. Guys, GMKTec, these guys, you've got to love them. I mean, that is a serious machine for a little bit of money. And they've already blown my mind, I'll tell you. Now, I'm going to put links to all this down here in the description. I want you to take a look at them. I will tell you that I don't believe they've got the bare bones listed on there yet, but it is coming soon. And these just released back in January. So this is a relatively new processor. So jump on board, take a look at this one. They've got another one, they said, that we're going to be testing also, but it's going to be hard-pressed to beat that thing. The only thing I kind of wish, guys, one thing I love about that form factor is how small that thing is compared. I mean, you can to give you an idea with Stumpy, and I showed you this at the beginning, but you can see the difference in size. It's considerable, right? However, who cares? Seriously, if I'm going to use this to upgrade arcade 1-ups or consoles or decks, I'll stick that thing in there, just pull the board out and stick it straight down to standoffs. Not a problem, right? Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I have got a scanner, 3D scanner in the box right there. That is your next video, and it's coming soon. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.